Okay, here's our video on scientific word problems, part 1. So let's just warm up, go over some multiplication. Just a review of multiplication. So remember, we're going to multiply the constants here. Negative 3 times 4, we're going to get a negative 12. Right, negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. And then we're going to times it by 10. With multiplication, we add the exponents, and 4 plus negative 2 is 2. Now, this is not in scientific notation. 3 times 4 is 12, but in scientific notation now, right, we can put it like this. It's 1.2. Now, what is the exponent, you think? So right now, that's where the decimal is. It's right there, and it's telling us to move it twice. So we would get a negative 1200. So how could we get the same number now if we move it back one? We gotta go 1, 2, 3. So that would be the answer. Okay, let me write that over again. So if you can see it, so it's going to be negative 1.2 times 10 to the third power. And now let's warm up a division problem here. So if we had, let's say, 8 times 10 to the third power, that's division, right? Divided by 2 times 10 to the second power. So we just divide now. We're going to get 4. And in division, we subtract the exponents. 3 minus 2 is 1. So it'll be just 10. You just say 4 times 10. Or you can just say 4 times 10 to the first power. Whatever one you want to use. So let's look at some word problems now. So in word problems, we're going to either add, subtract, divide, or multiply. But in this case, we'll just go over division and multiplication. So let's look at this. This says planet Alpha is 8 times 10 to the third power miles in diameter. And planet Beta is 12 times greater. So we're trying to find the diameter of planet Beta. Now anytime you see where it says one is 12 times greater, and you're trying to find the diameter of another, you need to know that this is going to be either division or multiplication. So which one do you think it is? Read it carefully. You should pause the tape and see if you can see which one it is. Okay? Well, we know that we're saying beta is 12 times greater than this. You already know that it's 12 times greater, so it's multiplication. So keep that in mind. When you already know how many times greater something is, it'll always be multiplication. So we're just going to multiply. We're going to say 12 times 8 times 10 to the third power. And all we do is we're going to just multiply 12 times 8. So see what you get. Okay? So 12 times 8 is 96. So it's 96 times 10 to the third power. But that's a good answer, but it's not in scientific notation. So we have to put it back in scientific notation. Remember, so we're going to put a 9.6. Remember, the decimal's here, and it's telling us to move 3 times. So if we go back 1, we should move it 4 times. And that'll be the answer. You should review rewind the tapes and go over that if you didn't understand it. And remember something about, if it makes sense, planet Beta should be bigger than planet Alpha. And the exponent will tell you if a number is bigger. Right? So this, for example, so if I had 2 times 10 to the 7th power, and unless I had 9 times 10 to the 3rd power, even though 9 is bigger than 2, the bigger exponent is here. So this number is bigger. Keep that in mind. Whoever has the bigger exponent is the bigger number. Let's look at another word problem. Try to figure out if this is division or multiplication. So the population of Orange City is 7 times 10 to the 7th power. This is 12 times greater than Appletown. So what is the population of Appletown? Now, first of all, looking at this, which one is bigger? Is Orange City bigger than Appletown? Yes, right? They're saying that Orange City, this is is 12 times greater. It's 12 times greater. Now, we don't want to multiply here because then that'll make Appletown bigger. So what should we do? If we know Appletown's smaller, we want to divide, right? If we multiplied here, Orange City would be smaller, but we're saying clearly that Orange City is bigger because it's this. The population, this, which is Orange City, is 12 times greater. So we're going to divide here. So let's move this up. First of all, you should look at the question again. Make sure you have it. We want to divide 7, bring it up here, times 10 to the 7th power by 12. And you could do it a couple of ways here. You could do it as 1.2 times 10 to the 1st power. Now, how did I get that? Well, let's say, look at 12. How do you put 12 in scientific notation? It's 1.2 times 10, and you want them, if the decimal's here, how many times do you move it to get 12? Once, right? So that's why it's that. So here's our division problem, and we're going to just divide. You're going to divide 7 divided by 1.2. And in division, remember, you subtract the exponent. So see what you get. So if you divide 7 by 1.2, remember the top number is always in the box, you're going to get a roughly, it's going to be a long number repeating, but we'll just say 5.83. That'll be your answer. Now, we got to put it in scientific notation. It's already in scientific notation. So let's write it up here. We'll have 5.83 times 10. Remember, and let's go back here. In division, we subtract, so it'll be to the 6th power. Now, if you didn't do it that way, let's say, where's that? Let's say you just did it like this. You did 7 times 10 to the 7th power divided by 12. You just did 12. You didn't do anything else. Well, if you did it that way, you would get 0.583. So it would be 0.583 times 10 to the 7th power. Now, this is a good answer, but it's not in scientific notation, so we have to put it in scientific notation. Now, this is telling us, and decimal's there, to move it 7 times. So if we move it forward, now we only have to move it 6 times. And we'll get the same answer that we got before.